Talk to me about the Repo Man character. So you're taken off TV for how long in 1991, and then you come back with this completely new character. You've lost, I think you drop a load of weight. Nobody recognizes you. How does the whole thing come about?
Um, you know, I don't know how much time I had off, but I remember, Vince called me up and said, "Hey, I really want you back up here. You're not going to be the Demolition. Let's have a meeting." So we had the meeting, and he said to me, he says, you know, "You got any thoughts and everything?" And I said, "Well, I used to repo cars, and I get into some situations that were, you know, tough to get out of. I think it'd be kind of neat if I was the repo man. And he says, "I like it." He says, "How about, put a mask on or something like that?" And I said, I just am not comfortable with a mask. He says, "Well, I got to have you somehow change your face a little bit." And I said, "Well, how about if I had a small mask, kind of like the Riddler or something, and I make it a serious but kind of a funny gimmick, so then I can turn babyface one day." Because I said, "I don't know how much longer I want to be in this business." I said, "I'd like to end my career as a babyface and do a bunch of stuff for Make-A-Wish, and go in celebrity golf tournaments and do this kind of stuff." And he says, "You know what? That's a great idea." You know. So then they came up with a look with the coat, the knee pads that were looking like tires and tires on top, and then license plate in the back and everything. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "I love it. I'll do it." So I said, "Just give me a couple of months or so and let me really. I'll start running. I'll start dieting. I'll drop weight. Nobody will even know who the heck I am." So that's what we did. And then we did those vignettes where I kicked the window in and did all that stuff. And I really enjoyed the gimmick because I was getting paid good money, and I was acting. I was really outside my realm, and I ended up working with top guys, Randy Savage, Hacksaw Duggan, I mean all the top guys I was working with, and my job was to get these guys over, and I didn't mind doing it all. That's why I told you earlier, jobber. You can call me a jobber. I got everybody over. And that's what you do in wrestling. You beat somebody, and then you get beat and help somebody else out. So, anyways, it got to the point where it was getting really hard to wrestle as the Repo Man because people were kind of liking me, but not liking me. And it's hard to work under those conditions. Either you want to be hated or you want to be loved. And when you're in between there, it's like pulling teeth out there sometimes. So I went to Vince. I said, "Vince, it's time to change me as a baby face." I said, I'm ready." And he says, "You're never going to be a baby face." I said, "Yeah, but that's what we talked about." Again, here comes the promoter deal again.
Mm-hmm.
The lying, the cheating, I mean, that's what they do, but it's his business. He can do whatever he wants with it, but it's just not what my arrangement was. So I told him, I said, "Well, Vince, I'm gonna have to put my notice in because that's not what we talked about." So I put my notice in. I left about 2 months later, and then he called me right back again. He says, "Barry," he says, "I got another gimmick for you." I said, "Really? What are you thinking?" He says, "Well, Hawk came up with a gimmick. It was kind of in before I quit the Repo Man. We talked about it. He wanted me to be Doink the Clown,
Really?
and I said, "I don't know if I could do that." He says, "Yeah, we're trying to get an evil clown, you know." And he says, "The way you're the Repo Man, and and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to have a different gimmick."
Hmm.
So he says, "All right." And then, so then I was done. And then here comes Doink the Clown came out, you know? So that was it. Then I was off and I got a call from Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. And I went down to WCW after that.
I don't want to get off the Repo Man just yet because, to my eye, and you tell me if I'm miles off or if I'm dead on, Batman in the 60s, Frank
Yeah,
Gorshin,
that
the
was it. That was the Riddler.
yeah,
I was the Riddler.
So you must have been a big fan of the show at the time, and you're just like, I'm having that one.
I'm having that one. I loved it. Yeah, that was really how it all came about.
Yeah. Did it,
Was Riddler.
I know this sounds weird, but did you have to like audition this like new, basically, as you said, acting style to
No,
to anybody
no,
and just say, hey, this is now my voice and what I'm going to do?
no. He knew I could pull it off, and I knew I could pull that off. So that's how it all happened.
Did you ever break your
Yeah,
voice doing that high
it was a fun
voice?
job. What's that?
I said, did you ever break your voice anytime doing that high voice for so long?
No, but it was hard staying in character, I'll tell you.
I bet it was. One more thing about Repo Man, and I'm going to ask you something else about WWF, and if you've got time, I've got a couple more questions for you. Very, very, very shortly before you leave the WWF, this is in early 1993, you turn up with a completely new outfit, and we're getting on outfits constantly on this show, I understand, but it was like white, and then you had this like giant, like almost like lucha libre sort of helmet mask kind of thing going on. Who came up to you and just said, you just need to completely change your look?
I just did it.
Oh, really?
Nobody told me. I just thought I'd mix it up a little bit. You know.
Was this a seamstress with the WWF who knocked it up for you, or?
Yeah, yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it was pretty easy, simple thing to do. Just to have a little bit different look. It was kind of hard carrying that big coat around too with the license plates on there.
Mm.
You'd carry it on the plane and you get stopped at TSA, and it's what are these sharp objects doing in there? I mean, a lot of factors to it.
And that's pre 9/11 as well. You'd never get through.
Yep, exactly.